Section 121. Narada said, removed from his place and pushed away from his seat, with heart trembling in fear, and consumed by burning remorse, with his garlands dimmed in lustre and his knowledge clouded, shorn of his crown and bracelets, with head swimming, and every limb relaxed, divested of ornaments and robes, incapable of being recognized, sometimes not seeing the other residents of heaven, filled with despair and his understanding a perfect blank, King Yayati fell headlong towards the earth. And before the king fell down, he thought within himself, what inauspicious and sinful thought was entertained by me, in consequence of which I am hurled from my place. And all the kings there, as also the Siddhas and the Apsaras, laughed at seeing Yayati losing his hold, and on the point of falling down. And soon, O king, at the command of the king of the gods, there came a person whose business it was to hurl down those whose merits were exhausted. And coming there, he said on to Yayati, extremely intoxicated with pride, there is none whom thou hast not disregarded. In consequence of this thy pride, heaven is no longer for thee. Thou deservest not a residence here, O son of a king. Thou art not recognized here. Go and fall down. Even thus the celestial messenger spoke unto him. Nahusha's son then said, repeating the words 3 times, if fall I must, let me fall amongst the righteous. And saying this, that foremost of persons that had won high regions by their acts began to think of the particular region whereon he should fall. Beholding meanwhile 4 mighty kings, viz. Pratardhana, Vasumanas, Sivi, the son of Usinara, and Ashtaka, assembled together in the host of Naimisha. The king fell amongst them, and those monarchs were then engaged in gratifying the Lord of the Celestial, a performance of the sacrifice known by the name of Vajapeya, and the smoke arising from their sacrificial altar reached the very gates of heaven, and the smoke that rose thus looked like a river, connecting both the earth and the heaven, and it resembled the sacred stream Ganga while descending from heaven to earth. And smelling that smoke and guiding his course by it, Yayati, the Lord of the universe, descended on the earth. And the king thus fell amongst those 4 lions among rulers, who were all endued with great beauty, who were foremost of all the performers of sacrifices, who were indeed his own relatives, and who resembled the 4 regents of the 4 quarters, and looked like 4 mighty sacrificial fires. And thus, in consequence of the exhaustion of his merits, the royal sage Yayati fell amongst them, and beholding him blazing with beauty, those kings asked him, saying, who art thou, of what race, country, or city art thou? Art thou a Haksha, or a god, a Gandharva, or a Rakshasa? Thou dost not seem to be a human being. What object hast thou in view? Thus questioned, Yayati answered, I am the royal sage Yayati. Fallen am I from heaven in consequence of the expiration of my virtue. Having desired to be fall amongst the righteous, I have fallen amongst you. The kings then said, O foremost of persons, may that wish of thine be realized. Accept thou our virtues and the fruits of all our sacrifices. Yayati replied, saying, I am not a Brahmana competent to accept a gift. On the other hand, I am a Kshatriya, nor is my heart inclined towards lessening the virtues of others. Narada continued, about this time Madhavi, in course of her purposeless wanderings, came there. Beholding her, those monarchs saluted her, and said, what object hast thou in coming here? What command of thine shall we obey? Thou deservest to command us, for all of us are thy sons. O thou that art endued with wealth of asceticism. Hearing these words of theirs, Madhavi was filled with delight, and approaching then her father, she reverentially saluted Yayati, and touching the heads of all her sons, that lady, engaged in ascetic austerities, said to her father, "Being my sons, these all are thy daughter's sons, O King of kings. They are not strangers to thee. These will save thee. The practice is not new, its origin extends to antiquity. I am thy daughter, Madhavi, O king, living in the woods after the manner of the deer. I also have earned virtue. Take thou a moiety, and because, O king, all men have a right to enjoy a portion of the merits earned by their offspring. It is for this that they desire to have daughters' sons. Even this was the case with thyself. O king, when thou madest me over to Galava." At these words of their mother, those monarchs saluted her, and bowing down unto also their maternal grandsire, repeated those words in a loud, incomparable, and sweet voice, and making, as it were, the whole earth resounded therewith, in order to rescue that maternal grandsire of theirs, who had fallen down from heaven. And at that time Galava also came there, and addressing Yayati said, "Accepting an eighth part of my ascetic austerities, ascend thou to heaven again." Thus ended section 121 in Bhagavat Yana Parva of the Udyoga Parva.